Hey guys, George here, and another tip from the workbench. And today I'm working on upgrading this Kato P42 to DCC. And I just wanted to point out one of the biggest challenges is getting the motor wires taken care of. Now on this model, these motor wires are attached to these small metal blades and they slide into here, which rubs the top of the wheel. Now that's a direct track power to motor interface, and so what we need to do is we need to intercept that. And so in this one, what I've done is I've slid these tabs out and I've actually taken the clip loose to get this motor out of the truck assembly. And I'm going to show you a neat little trick that you can do to get these things DCC ready. So the first thing, as you can see, and I'll try to see if the camera can focus on it, you can kind of see here where the wire is stripped right in here, and then it's soldered to this blade. Well, the good news is that we don't need the blade, but since this is already stripped, then we don't really need to do any tinning of the wire. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my cutters and go right in there, and we're going to remove that blade, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Just like that. So now I have my two motor wires just sticking loose. So now we're going to solder these to our motor wires, which will run up into the body shell and then be attached to the decoder. So what I do is I'm just going to take a set of curved tweezers, self-closing, and I'm going to grip this motor in place just like this. Now we're going to set it down on our workbench. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take two 4-inch sections, one of our gray and one of our orange wire, and then we're just going to strip and tin the insulation off the end of the wire here. So you guys have seen us do this before many times. So the good news is we don't need a whole lot. So now we're just going to twist the ends of the wire. We're going to get our flux. We're going to put a little bit on here. And for you guys asking, this is a readily available syringe of Chipquik SMD 291. You can get this at DigiKey. Runs about $12 last time I checked. And this helps work really well for all of your soldering needs. So now I'm just going to put a little bit of solder on the end of my iron, and we're going to tin the ends of these wires. Just like that. Now remember, these are loose on the other side. So I'm going to take my orange wire and I'm going to solder it to the red wire. And depending on your version, you may have an orange wire and a gray wire there as well. So pay attention. Now all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this, line this up, put it right next to there, and with some solder on the end of my iron, I'm just going to touch that wire, and you can see how quick and easy that was. Now let's do it again with our gray. Put a little solder on the end of the iron. Just going to line up our wires, and we're going to solder them together. And that's how quick and easy this goes together. Now we're going to get two pieces of our heat shrink tubing, and you want to make sure that the heat shrink tubing is close to the size of the wire, so that way you don't end up with a loose piece of insulation on it. There we go. Now what we're going to do, slide this over the wire, put it over the joint, and we're going to heat it to shrink up. Now when you're doing this, you want to leave as much of the red and the black wire or the orange and gray wire coming out of the motor as you can. And you're going to see why here in just a second. So let's heat this up. Let's shrink this shrink tubing. So we're going to use the barrel of our soldering iron to heat it up. And you can see it doesn't take much, and we're good to go. So now you can see I've got my joints made. Now we just need to put this back into the truck. So we're going to make sure the dog bone fits into the motor and snaps into place. Then we're going to tape our casing, and we're just going to snap it over top and snap it into place. And that's one of the good things about Kato, is a lot of this stuff just snaps together, and it's actually quite amazing. There we go. Alright, that motor's in place. Now here is your big secret. Now this is what's going to help protect the durability of these wires here in the long term. So now that you've got these wires mounted left and right, what we're going to do is we're going to take these and we're going to take a little bit of cyanoacrylate and we're going to glue this piece of heat shrink tubing right here. Now this will not interfere with the motion of the truck, and what it's going to do is it's going to help prevent the stress, if anything comes loose, from popping these wires or breaking these wires, because these are very short, and if they break, you end up having to replace the motor and in some cases replace the truck from Kato. That becomes a very expensive option. So what we're going to do now, we're just going to take some cyanoacrylate, and you didn't take just an old business card or a piece of cardboard or something like that. Put a little dab of that glue there, and then what you're going to do is just get a traditional toothpick from the kitchen, and you're going to use this to put a little tiny dab of glue right here on the side. Now remember, you don't want to get it on the motor, and you don't want to get it on the truck assembly. You just want to get it right there on that clip, just like that. So now we're going to move this aside. We're going to take our wires and we're going to press them into the glue. Now we're going to take our self-close tweezers here, and we're going to try to hold these in place while they dry. Now as you can see, these will hold right here. They're not interfering with anything, and then what we'll do is we'll feed these wires back underneath and then up through the underside of your body shell to your decoder. So guys, I hope this tip has been helpful for you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at support@SoundTraxx.com, and we'll be happy to help answer any questions we can. So hopefully this installation tip has been helpful for you, and thanks for watching.